going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Today, at long last, at the request of Hate-Proof Mufasa, one of my players in Doomsday Dawn, actually, and that's right around the corner. Stoked, we're hitting one of the core deities because he's starting up Hell's Vengeance, and he wants an informative video about Iomedae. So, of course, we're cracking open that Inner Sea Gods, and if you like what you're seeing, remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. Can we push through? That'd be super great. Actually, I'm recording this about a week in advance, so we might be at 2,000 by now. Who knows? We'll see. Real quick, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by our newest patron. I want to plug the big guys, but hey, you know, every contribution means something to me. Even if it's just $1, that's totally fine. This episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by Brendan Brown. Thanks so much for your help, my friend. Now, let's dive in. Okay, so the Archangel Michael, also known as Saint Michael, commands legions of guardian angels according to Christianity. They all serve on the first ray of protection, faith, and the will of God. These guys await our prayers to bring them into action into our world. Michael is the Prince of the Archangels, the Prince of the Angelic Hosts, the Defender of the Faith, the Angel of Deliverance, and of course, he is the patron saint of police departments and law enforcement agencies around the world. And of course, in Pathfinder, for the equivalent, we have the goddess Iomedae. She is the goddess of righteous valor, justice, and honor, having served as Eridan's herald. And if you don't know who that is, follow this card right up here to hear about, you know, one of the most powerful beings to ever grace the multiverse of Pathfinder. She inherited many of his followers upon his death. I guess that's a spoiler. Sorry, guys. And she continues to espouse the ideas of honor and righteousness in the defense of good and the battle against evil. But before all that, Iomedae was immortal, born in Cheliax around 3800 AR. She joined the Shining Crusade, she ascended to lead the Knights of Ozum in the struggle against the forces of the Whispering Tyrant, and of course, these proper nouns may mean nothing to you. Follow this card right up here for our timeline video of the Inner Sea region to, you know, get caught up. This struggle brought about many great feats, of course, including the creation of Heart's Edge, an artifact that was forged from the pieces of Iomedae's sword that had been broken by the Whispering Tyrant. This action was immortalized as Iomedae's 6th act. It is worth noting that Iomedae has 11 of these miracles performed throughout Avestan and Garund as a demonstration of Eridan's might. We can make a bit of an analogy to Jesus here. We can make a bit of an analogy to Hercules here as well. Both are good. Anywho, after all that terrible stuff happened, in the fall of 3832 AR, she became the most recent person to pass the test of the Starstone and acquire a divine spark. These actions, of course, caught the notice of Eridan, who chose her as his herald to replace the slain Aranzi, who'd been raised as a lich in Geb. It's all super bad, but again, timeline video, Inner Sea region, a 5-minute tour, we'll get you caught up. Iomedae served in that capacity until Eridan's death in 4606, after which she took over many of his followers and legacy and became known as the Inheritor, because inherit she really did. Iomedae manifests as a valiant woman in full plate mail wielding a long sword and a heraldic shield. Her shield, of course, casts a holy light blinding evil beings, and her aura causes malevolent forces to tremble and falter. She makes her favor known by reshaping ordinary objects into sword-like shapes. The appearance of gold and white light around a person or object, or the magnet-like pull of a longsword or other long metal weapon in a particular direction. Her anger is displayed through flickering lights, the breaking of weapons against formerly yielding material, and the tarnishing and increased weight of gold or silver. Iomedae herself is, of course, lawful good. Her domains are glory, good, law, sun, and war, with the domains Archon, good, and law, chivalry, day, duels, heroism, honor, hubris, glory, light, redemption, revelation, sovereignty, and tactics. Her favored weapon is the long sword, and her symbol, the sword and sun. As of Planar Adventures, all the core deities have a brand new divine gift handed out by GM Fiat when you're awesome. Iomedae's, by spending 10 minutes in prayer to her, you can activate a Holy Aura or Shield of Law effect on yourself, caster level 20th, that lasts for the next 12 hours. Yeah, that's a thing. It's super powerful. Anyway, of course, Iomedae, as one of the flagship gods of Pathfinder, has her own obedience. To perform it, hold your primary weapon in front of you and hang a holy symbol of Iomedae from it. Kneel while focusing on the holy symbol. Pray for guidance and protection from the Inheritor, and swear to follow her teachings. Easy peasy. In return, it's a +4 sacred bonus on diplomacy and knowledge nobility checks. Sure, not bad. Evangelist boons grant us remove fear 3 times a day, blessing of courage and life twice a day or once a day, heroism. At 16th level, you are used to fighting the forces of evil, and you gain a bonus equal to 1 + 1 for every 4 hit dice you possess, a maximum of 6 on caster level checks to overcome the spell resistance of outsiders with the chaotic or evil subtypes. There you go, Clerics of Iomedae. Spam that flame strike. These bonuses stack against outsiders who are both chaotic and evil. Ew, gross. Take that, demons. If you don't have the ability to cast spells, you instead gain the ability to use protection from chaos or evil as a spell-like ability 3 times a day. At 20th level, 3 times a day, you can call upon Iomedae during the casting of a spell to increase its potency. When you use this ability, you can cast any spell that deals hit point damage and has a casting time of 1 standard action as a full round action instead. Doing so changes half the damage dealt to divine power, similar to Flame Strike. If you can't cast spells, of course that means if you were to use something like Lightning Bolt, dealing 10d6 damage, half of it is electricity, half of it is divine energy, which is not subject to electricity resistance. If you can't cast spells that deal hit point damage, you instead gain the ability to imbue your weapon with holy power. 3 times per day as a free action, you can grant your weapon the Holy Weapon special ability for a minute. Why would you? This is for casters. I'm a paladin. Here's the holy enchantment. No, this is for the clerics, the war priests, even the divine wizards. That seems super good. Anywho, moving on, Exalted boons grant us Shield of Faith 3 times a day, Enthrall twice a day or once a day, Searing Light. At level 16, once per day, you can channel the effects of Holy Smite through your weapon. You must declare your use of this ability before you roll the attack, and on a hit, the target is affected as if targeted with Holy Smite. At 20th level, once per day, as a standard action, you can summon a Shield Archon. It follows your commands perfectly for 1 minute for every hit die before going back to heaven. It doesn't follow commands that would violate its alignment and will attack you if you're terrible. Yeah, okay, we've seen that one a million times. We can miss it. Sentinel boons grant us Bless Weapon thrice a day, Bull's Strength twice a day or once a day, Magic Vestment. At level 16, if you have the Smite Evil class feature, here you go, Paladins, you gain an extra use of that ability per day. You add the levels of Sentinel to your Paladin levels when calculating the extra damage dealt by your Smite. If you successfully deal damage with your Smite, your target must succeed at a will save, 10 plus Charisma plus half your hit dice, or be stunned for a round, plus 1 round for every 4 hit dice you possess, a maximum of 6. Once a target saves against this, they're immune for the next 24 hours. If you don't have Smite Evil, instead you can, as a free action, single out an outsider with the evil subtype or an evil line dragon you plan to vanquish. Undead should be on here too, but meh. Against this target, you gain a +2 sacred bonus on attack rolls and a sacred bonus equal to your Sentinel level on damage rolls. The bonus remains until your target is dead or you use it again, whichever comes first, and if you choose a target that's not listed here, it's wasted. You can use this ability a number of times per day equal to your Charisma bonus, a minimum of 1, so okay, little baby Smite Evil. We'll take it. Finally, at level 20, once per day you can channel the effects of Banishment through your weapon, though you don't need to cast or even know the spell. You must declare your use of this ability before you roll. On a hit, the target is affected by banishment. If you openly wear a holy symbol of Iomedae, and you probably are, you gain a +1 bonus on your caster level check to overcome the target's spell resistance, and the saving throw is increased by 2, literally, for just wearing a sword around your neck. Yeah, no, do that. Not bad. It's definitely a thing. If nothing else, I didn't see Iomedae being the goddess who would be for the wizards, or blaster clerics, or blaster anything, but yeah, evangelist boons are pretty good. That's a +12 to overcome spell resistance. We'll take it. Of course, as you might imagine, Iomedae is kind of the stereotypical paladin god of Pathfinder, and of course, she has her own paladin code. It reads as such. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the Inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle, and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender to those under my command. I will never abandon a companion. though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both in thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. Yeah, Gideon, stop making goblins surrender. That's a Rise of the Rune Lords joke. We'll talk about it more later. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Iomedae's perfection. Okay, yeah, so I've never GM'd for... That's a lie. Okay, so back in the day, I definitely GM'd for a Paladin of Iomedae. We didn't really get into the roleplay of it because I think the player just chose Iomedae as, like, stereotypical Paladin goddess because, in fact, she really is. My experience with Iomedae comes from a good friend of mine over at the Inn of Planar Crossroads whose schedule is unfortunately changing, and so we won't be seeing as much of him. Gideon Matthews, Paladin of Iomedae in Rise of the Rune Lords, was a very well put together character. It was a lot of fun to watch, it was a lot of fun to roleplay around, especially, like, making jokes about the fact that he should have many children, playing a 6 charisma hunter who basically was cut from the same zealous cloth as the Paladin, though Adam will be in here in about 2 seconds and argue with me about that. Nevertheless, it was super fun to take jabs out with him, and Greg, we'll miss ya. Come back soon. Follow this card right up here. You'll get directed to Rise of the Rune Lords over at IOPC. Now, if I were to play a Paladin of Iomedae, I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. Iomedae is probably one of my least favorite of the gods in Pathfinder, just because her particular flavor has never really jived with me that well. As far as lawful good goes, I tend to prefer more like Regathiel's anger and righteous smiting powers, or Erastil for his, ironically, the exact opposite of Regathiel, desire to keep the family fed and live a simple life. Though in her own right, Iomedae is certainly a very cool goddess. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and she makes a very wonderful, though again a little stereotypical, goddess for paladins to follow. She certainly has the most well put together paladin code I've seen in terms of length, and Galarion is full of demons and devils and other various ne'er-do-wells that need smiting and then longswords in the chest. Iomedae can and will certainly provide that. But anywho, that's all we have for today. What do you guys think of Iomedae? Have you worshipped her? Have you smote evil for her? And are we building in Pathfinder 2nd Edition Paladins of Iomedae running around with long swords? Again, doing that smite evil and stabbing folks for Iomedae! I had to say it at least once. And hey, we have officially finished our giveaway of Fantasy Grounds Ultimate Edition. The winner has been contacted. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Our next giveaway is coming up. It's going to be a little while because our giveaways go off every time our subscriber count has doubled. We're looking at 3,392 for our next benchmark. So hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Anywho, thank you guys again so much for watching. The next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was supposed to be Desna, because we were going to do 4 core deities in a row, but my editor has cut the line with his patron powers. So the next episode of the Forgotten Race Review will be all about our first ever trip to the First World, the Eldest Magd. It drops next Wednesday.